Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Everybody. Yeah, you were supposed to say, yeah, that was
I
the.
did.
Oh, you did? I didn't hear you. Oh, sorry. Sorry. My B. Yeah, we are here, the Real Football fans of New Jersey. Thank you guys so much for joining us for another episode. This is episode 225. Oof, Katie, we had another phenomenal weekend behind us. We not only went to BravoCon, but the NFL again delivered with what we're calling the weirdest season in NFL history.
Yes. Yeah. I know we say that every year, but this one takes the cake.
You have teams that you would have never guessed that are 2-4. You have teams like some things are, I think, are 3-3, maybe. Or we had a bye week last week for the first time, and it's just, you know what? It is getting crazier and crazier. BravoCon was crazy as well. We were giving you a full recap of that going into NFL Week 6, NFL Week 7, and all of the fun stuff. But to get us started tonight, we asked you guys to ask us questions. And listen, you didn't disappoint here. We got a couple of questions in. We took 5. So let's go ahead and get right into them. So the first question, as we, go into week 7 of the NFL, which team is the most disappointing 1-win team? So 4 teams have 1 win. And I think and if I'm wrong, I fact check me, but Houston, the Raiders, Detroit, and Carolina. Those are our 1-win teams going into week 7. Katie, out of these 4, who is the most disappointing to you?
It's Las Vegas for me. Mm-hmm. So Houston, Carolina, like before we even started the season, Kate, I know on one of our shows, we kind of gave who we thought were going to be like our bottom 5 teams in the league this year. And Houston, Carolina were in that group for me. I know both of us were very high on Detroit, like having a big bounce back year after 3 wins just last year. But like, let's also keep in mind they were a 3-win team last year. So we also said that if they got like 6-7 wins this year, that would be good. That would be a big jump. Las Vegas is a talented team. And speaking of things we said before the season started, you and I were terrified of the Las Vegas roster, offensively and defensively. They had a guy like Devontae Adams in the offseason. Like Las Vegas to me was looking like a scary squad.
Right.
And the fact that they only have 1 win right now is very surprising, very disappointed. Do I believe that this is a group that can bounce back? And it's a long season. There's 17 regular season games now. Could they still make the playoffs, especially with another wild card team added to the mix? Yeah, they can still do it, but they're off to a really rocky start.
Yeah, I got to agree with you with Las Vegas on this one. And one of the things that stands out to me the most, when we're making our picks week after week, when we're playing games and we're kind of doing deep dive analysis, their logo pops up, their name pops up. And it's like, I am not even following the Raiders right now. I'm not even unless we're doing something for the show. Like, I'm not I don't have anyone really in fantasy. So that's not really what I'm looking into. They're not a team. And going into the season, that was a team, like you said, we were really scared of them. And it was a team that we were both saying we were excited to watch. I don't think I've watched a lick of what they've been doing this season because they're not doing anything. So 100% disappointing there for sure.
Yeah.
Alrighty, so this question is aimed towards me. I'm not wearing any Alabama gear tonight, but the question is, how did I become an Alabama fan? So again, I honestly get this question all the time. I was just down in Alabama, watching. I went to go see a game, and everyone had asked, how did you? Why from New Jersey? What are you doing here? Did you go? Everyone always asks, did I go to Alabama? No, I did not. At the time, my dad told me that girls like me would not fit in down there, so I did not. I was an athlete, wanted to play lacrosse. They didn't even have the sport of lacrosse, and these girls down there are like Southern Belles. I am not that. So, and I did witness it firsthand. I think my dad was very correct when he told me that. Totally fine though. So yeah, it's so random and so silly, but I'm so happy with the fandom that it's turned into. When I was 12, 13 years old, maybe, a show came out on MTV called Two-A-Days, and it literally focused in on a high school in Alabama, Hoover High School. They were the top-ranked team. They played at the time against Tim Tebow and his top-ranked Florida team at the time. So this is going way back when. And it really just followed these kids around. I've loved football my entire life. You're going to give me a show about high school football, I'm watching it. Like, I want to.
And then 50% of their roster ended up going and playing at Alabama.
Right. So, and they had, a couple of the guys like, John Parker Wilson. He was the quarterback at Alabama at the time. He was on the show. Yeah. So I kind of got interested into it. My family's big Notre Dame fan. So I'd only known Notre Dame football my entire life. So I got intrigued. I started watching, and that's how I became an Alabama fan. So kind of silly, kind of random, but I do want people to know Alabama was like not very good when I first started liking that. So
let's give a shout out to like Netflix or Prime or Hulu.
Oh my God.
Let's get Two-A-Days out. Let's stream that shit.
Get it. They had 2 seasons. Second season wasn't as good as the first, but I do actually have it on DVD. Fun fact, though, I think Katie's brother still has it from me. I think he stole it from me.
Katie still watches it, by the way.
Eric, if you are watching the show, please give me back my Two-A-Days DVDs. I want them back. But yeah, honestly, it's silly, but I became a fan that way. And again, they were not good when I started liking them. So in no way, shape, or form am I a bandwagon fan. So I would admit that. Trust me. I'm a Gonzaga bandwagon fan. So I admit that. It's so random.
I don't even take offense to that because I don't actually consider you a fan.
I'm not. I do it just for fun, and it pisses people off. So that's why I do it. All right, number 3. So we did just get back from BravoCon, but this one's an interesting question. Should the NFL do an expo like BravoCon, and what would that look like? I'm not sure. They probably do like events, but not like that.
What I was going to say is I thought about this question, and in a way, like there are already so many events, like not obviously like BravoCon, but in my mind, I was first like, oh, are you trying to get like all these NFL greats under one roof? Well, then that kind of reminded me of like the Hall of Fame ceremony.
Right.
It was like, obviously if you want to attend the NFL draft, you can go do that. Then if you broke it down to individual teams, well, there's plenty of like autograph signings and events where they have like a bunch of older Giants players get together or, guys from a Super Bowl winning team together for autographs, meet and greet. We go to the charity softball game. There are a ton of events where you can go and see the players for like present and former players that I just don't feel like it's necessary. I feel like there's already enough opportunity out there to go to things like that and to have a personal fan experience with those players.
Yeah, I think it would be cool to kind of just like look into kind of like workshop the idea to see what it would look like, because of course you're right. You have the draft, you have the Hall of Fame thing, but the draft is very fan accessible, I think. But how many players are you really running into? I don't know if you're really.
You're not. But
yeah.
That's a different experience. That's not
right.
Like a meet and greet experience, but it's an experience, like a big thing that you can buy tickets for, and it's like a big deal.
Oh, of course. Yeah. I just think it's funny. Like there's so at BravoCon, like there's drama with like the panels and like the women, like everything like that. I gotta tell you, like we might get some of that with the NFL. Like there's some drama in the NFL. So I just think it would be kind of interesting. Like I envisioned where we were like at the Javits Center in BravoCon, like if you just swiped it all out with all NFL stuff and kind of looking at it, like, I don't know, but you're right. There's so much that goes on. Like they probably couldn't even put something like that together. So
yeah.
Something to dream about though. Maybe. All right. Ooh, this is a tough one for sure. When do we think Philly's first loss is going to come? So the remaining schedule here in order is Pittsburgh, Houston, Washington, Indianapolis, Green Bay, Tennessee, the Giants, Chicago, Dallas, New Orleans, and wrapping the season up again with the New York Giants. So
this question forced me to look at the remainder of Philly's schedule, and it's definitely favorable. It really is. Do I think that this is? I want to give a lot of credit to this Philly team because I think they're really good on special teams, offense, and defense. I think they're top 5 offense and defense right now.
Yeah, I agree.
So I am not denying that they are a really good team. I just also don't think that they're like this powerhouse team that would go undefeated. Like, I still think they've got to lose somewhere.
They have to.
I look at 2 things. I look at the stretch of on the road Indy,
Okay.
Green Bay at home, and then Tennessee at home. I feel like those are 3 teams that are underperforming right now. They're not playing to their top tier ability, but this is getting a little bit later in the season, and maybe they'll find their groove. And maybe they don't sound as intimidating as they would before the season started. Indy, Green Bay, Tennessee.
Right.
But I do feel like that is a little bit of a consecutive stretch of like maybe they'd slip up and lose one of those there. If not, I think I've got circled at Dallas, on the road at Dallas. I think, Dak Prescott will be there for it. And I think, you can always make an argument for a team like this losing to one of their division opponents.
Absolutely. And the NFC East right now, I think it's definitely not up for grabs, but it's competitive between the 3 of us. Washington, I mean, they're showing up occasionally and doing certain things, but
still, like I said, in a division, Washington can still come out and they can
100%
from the Giants, the Cowboys, the Eagles.
Yeah. Yeah, so Dallas was definitely on my radar for sure. And I think it will be, if they don't lose to this team, it will then become Dallas. I'm going to go with Green Bay. The Giants ended up beating them. They were losing. Giants came back. We didn't really see the greatest performance from Aaron Rodgers. I think that's kind of obviously they lost to the Jets this week. I think it's going to be a little wake-up call, out in Green Bay, and they're really going to have to perform in certain games and really big games coming up. And I see, this is, a couple games down the line because Philly is on the bye this weekend. So we're actually looking at, what is this now, 6 weeks out because they have the bye. 6 weeks gives Green Bay some time to really sit back and be like, shit, what are we doing?
Yeah.
And I think that'll be their first loss. Home game, so tough for Green Bay. But I think that'll be their first loss. So, and listen, looking at this list, it could be their only one, to be honest.
Yeah, it's obviously very, very, very hard to put together an undefeated season. And now that there's 17 regular season games, it'd also be very, very, very hard to go 16-1. But this is a favorable schedule for Philly. So we'll see what they do with it.
Absolutely. All righty, final question. And we will go into BravoCon a little bit more later. But who did you not meet at BravoCon that you wish you had met the most?
I'm gonna go. Well, Caitlin and I got online to meet Sonia and Luann together. They were doing a photo op, and that line was crazy long, and we knew that we would never get in, so we ended up ditching it. But we have met Luann twice before. Amazing experience.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go with someone who I haven't met that I was fangirling and fan crushing over the entire day. I love me some Frank Catania Sr. The place went absolutely
oh, he's such a babe.
And he makes me so happy. It's Frank Catania. I got to go with him.
Yeah, so I'm actually going to go with Dolores because we were online to meet her and Jennifer, and we ended up not making it in, which is super frustrating. Like, I thought we were so close. Like, we were at the door. Like, she is just like, and it's the same thing with Frank. I think the two of them, like, they just like light up the room, and like they really they make you feel good about yourself. They make you feel good about the universe and like everything like that. Like, they were great. We'll go into a little bit more how we did actually see them, but we didn't actually meet them. I would have loved to meet Dolores. We actually had the opportunity to, unfortunately it didn't go through. I envisioned the whole time, Katie, just us organically running into Frank potentially, and it would have been us probably freaking out the most, just like leaping into his arms. But yeah, I think that's a bummer too. But
we love our Catanias.
We do. So more on BravoCon to come, more with football. Obviously, we're going to go into week 6 thoughts, updates in the NFL right now. But as always, if you guys are watching live on Facebook, YouTube, and the Twitter, please engage with us throughout the show. Questions, comments, anything you want. It is the easiest to engage on YouTube, but you guys do it however you want. I am monitoring the entire time, so don't you worry. So let's get into it.
Yes, let's get into our NFL quick hot topics of the week, some rapid fire stuff we want to share with you guys. Injury-wise, Washington will be without quarterback Carson Wentz for approximately 4 to 6 weeks or so due to the fractured ring finger he suffered in their Thursday night football win over Chicago. So
kids made of glass.
They're currently considering IR for him. Taylor Heineke is their backup, but they also have rookie 5th-round draft pick Sam Howell. He was like a popular name for quarterbacks going to this year's draft. I kind of forgot that they had him. So he's an option as well. And then Arizona wide receiver Marquise Brown, he suffered a non-surgical fracture in his foot on Sunday. Recovery time is approximately 6 weeks, and he's expected to be put on IR. So those are like major long-term injuries. I know it came out earlier that Michael Thomas will not be playing this weekend for New Orleans. Jarvis Landry will not be playing. I'm sure there's a couple of other guys who might have been mentioned as well, but those are more so long-term injuries that especially fantasy people want to pay attention to because they will not be available for quite some time. Arizona may have lost Marquise Brown to injury, but they did acquire wide receiver Robbie Anderson in a trade with the Carolina Panthers. Anderson was on the trade market for months, but his week 6 ejection from the game was kind of the final straw. We saw him get in a fight with one of the coaches on the sidelines. It was just time for them to part ways. And Carolina is kind of this team right now where everybody's looking to make moves. They've already fired their head coach, Matt Rule. There's been whispers about possibly trying to trade away Christian McCaffrey, I guess, to get a lot, like
anything
possibly can for it.
It's what's that called? Like a liquidation sale at this point.
I've heard rumors about DJ Moore being traded. Obviously, they traded away Robbie Anderson. So this is a team that everybody's kind of like got their eyes on because it seems as though they're going to make some moves here. More trade news. The Rams are expected to trade running back Cam Akers. The team sat Akers in Sunday's game due to personal reasons. He was healthy. He was not injured. And then, the buzz started and the chatter started. And it seems as though they want to trade him away. So
this is why I think this is wild, to be honest.
The Rams drafted Cam Akers in the 2nd round of the 2020 draft, and they'll now look to running backs Malcolm Brown and Henderson to carry the load. I know.
Yeah, I don't know.
It was their game against Carolina this past weekend where the Rams posted to one of their social media accounts, Cooper Kupp and Christian McCaffrey having this long hug and embrace and talking after the game. And it was
oh boy.
Someone was like, Rams, you knew what you were doing when you posted that to social media. So I don't know, Christian McCaffrey's name is out there. And obviously the Rams are looking to get rid of Cam Akers, trade him away. So we're going to see how this all shakes out. But, obviously we've got a trade deadline coming up. So, we'll keep you updated on all of that.
Yeah, I don't know. That one was one of those things where you I read it on Twitter and I was like, is this a source, a good source account? I didn't believe it honestly at first, but so
the story, he was there on the sidelines, never came in.
Yep. So we'll definitely see what goes on there.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So week 6, again, like I'd said earlier, another wild and crazy week in the NFL. So here's everything that went on. The Jets upset, not just beat, they upset. That was my upset of the week. Bang, bang. They upset the Green Bay Packers 27-10. They stomped them out completely. Rookie running back Bryce Hall, 116 rush yards and 1 rush touchdown. So have yourself a day. But yeah, what a game there for the New York Jets. So again, another team that's really got to prove some stuff with a lot of offseason and draft moves for them. So the Indianapolis Colts quarterback Matt Ryan threw a final minute touchdown to rookie Alec Pierce to beat Jacksonville 34-27. So again, a lot of last minute things going on in these games on Sunday. So never turn off that TV. Never go into the kitchen like I do, even though every time I go into the kitchen or go to the bathroom, the Giants do something really big. So then I'm nervous and I'm I should sit.
Somebody lock her in the bathroom.
Sit in the bathroom. Don't let her out. And I must say there was something during the Giants game that I was in the kitchen. So I'm telling you people, it happens every damn game. So, all right. Speaking of the New York Giants, we upset Baltimore late in the game after a beautiful Julian Love interception, the Giants' first interception of the season. Yeah. We were the only team without an interception going into week 6. I did not know that.
And it's not even like they've been playing bad defense. They've been playing phenomenal defense. It just hasn't gone that way interception wise.
Like minutes prior, I had tweeted, I was like, I'm needed at this point. I need it. It came and I was like, oh my God. Finally, Julian Love had himself a freaking game. So we're loving Love right now. And then we had a strip sack from rookie Kayvon Thibodeau. You love to see it. His first sack of the season. Love to see that strip sack right there. We won 24-20. What an outstanding game. We are moving and grooving, people. 5-1. Woo. Pittsburgh. I know. I love it. Pittsburgh upset the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 20-18. Mitch Trubisky came back into the game because Kenny Pickett did suffer a concussion in the third quarter. So obviously a tough game to watch. Mr. Tom Brady, not very happy throughout the game. Had a few choice words for his offensive alignment on the sideline. And listen, Tom, the camera's always on you, so you got to be careful what you're doing. Everyone's seeing it. Buffalo beat Kansas City 24-20. Quarterback Josh Allen, 329 pass yards and 3 touchdowns. Wide receiver Stephon Diggs, 148 receiving yards and 1 touchdown. What a beautiful game. Listen, it was still a close game, but really beautiful game by Buffalo there for sure. And listen, they were out for that win. So I'm excited to see that they got it.
Yep.
The Philly defense picked off Cooper Rush for Dallas 3 times in their 26-17 win. They are still undefeated, as we mentioned earlier. And then the Chargers beat Denver 19-16 in overtime after they recovered a muffed punt. Listen, Denver is just, things are not going great for the Broncos and Russell Wilson here.
I know every week we're like dissecting the Broncos and we're saying like how disappointing they've been, everything like that. And they have been. Russell Wilson definitely disappointing as well. Let's like take a second here. Like I'm not really loving what I'm seeing from the Chargers.
So I'm not either.
And obviously, Caitlin, I know you picked them to go to the Super Bowl.
To win the Super Bowl.
There you go. We both really, really believe in this team, and we thought they were going far. I didn't have them in the Super Bowl, but I obviously was like, I'm very high on them. And I just feel like they haven't really had a game yet where we're like, ooh, yeah, this is why we felt the way that we do.
This is the Chargers team. No, I agree.
I don't know. It hasn't looked that exciting for the Chargers. They certainly have a better record than other people right now, but I just feel like they're underperforming. So they've got to step their shit up too.
Yeah. I mean, listen, Katie, I look at teams like the Chargers, like obviously we spoke about the Raiders earlier with one game. Green Bay has had 2 detrimental losses back to back. I look at Tampa Bay. I look at some really like powerful teams, and when is it going to like kick them in the ass and be like, oh shit, we need to get it together? Like, because there are teams like the Giants that are marching through people and knocking on people's doors. The Jets don't look that shabby with Zach Wilson back at quarterback. Like they really don't. You have the Philadelphia Eagles, who people thought were going to be good, but they're somewhat of a juggernaut right now. So I'm curious to these teams that I just named, when is reality going to strike them in the face? Because they can't keep doing what they are currently doing. So,
well,
alrighty.
Speaking of, let's go into another week of giving our picks and feeling like none of them are safe.
It's exhausting.
To go with. But we are going to give our week 7 picks plus 1 lock, 1 upset. Caitlin, why don't you kick us off this week? We do have 4 teams on the bye this week, and this group of 4 teams actually makes me laugh because I feel like they make up everybody's fantasy football rosters. So this week you will not see the Buffalo Bills, the Los Angeles Rams, the Minnesota Vikings, and the Philadelphia Eagles. Get on those waiver wires, people.
I know.
Some players up.
It's going to be a scrum this week for me. It's going to be so painful.
Like all the top players, but okay.
It's going to be a really rough week for me, but that's okay. All right, so let's start with Thursday. I'm going with Arizona moving into Sunday, Cincinnati, Detroit, Tennessee, Green Bay, Tampa Bay, New York Giants, Cleveland, New York Jets, Vegas, the Chargers, Kansas City, Miami, and the Patriots. My lock, and I don't even know if it is a lock, but anything could happen these days, is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers over the Carolina Panthers.
Okay.
And my upset is the Detroit Lions over the Dallas Cowboys. They're coming off a bye. We just spoke about them having one win. I would love for them to beat the Cowboys.
So we only have 2 games different this week.
Okay, so all right. That's impressive, in my opinion, for this wild.
We're with each other this week. So
okay,
I am going with Arizona, Cincinnati, Dallas, Tennessee, Green Bay, Tampa Bay, the New York Giants, Baltimore, the Jets, Las Vegas, the Chargers, Kansas City, Miami, and New England. I am also going with Tampa Bay over Carolina as my lock. And my upset, you picked it as well. And we are the underdogs. We are not favored. I'm going with the New York Giants over the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Technicality. I don't know how the hell we are the underdog in that team. I get the travel. It's mind-boggling. It's mind-boggling.
Yeah,
but
we have opened up as the underdogs. This
technically
week,
we are.
I'll definitely take that as my upset.
Yeah. A nice, safe old upset until
yes.
I totally.
Well, you never know, but the locks
say.
aren't safe. The upsets aren't safe, but
I was gonna say I totally just screwed us by saying that. So my bad, everyone.
I cleared us.
I'll stay in the kitchen this weekend. That was not a sexist joke. That was me just being in the kitchen. All right. So let's get into our BravoCon recap. It honestly feels like just yesterday. Honestly, it actually feels like just yesterday, but it also feels like 100 years ago, in my opinion. So let's talk about what we did experience. So we first got there. We went to a housewife to housewife panel. So people that you guys would know on there, we had Garcelle, Ashley Darby, we had Marlo Hampton, Adriana Demora, Gina from Orange County, and then obviously it was great to see Caroline Manzo from New Jersey. So it was interesting to see Caroline on the panel because all the other women are pretty relevant right now, and then you bring Caroline back, such a like real OG, but like hasn't been on in a while. So it was pretty good though.
I know one of the only people, like there were other people at BravoCon that I was like, oh, that was cool that they brought them, even though they're not on the show anymore.
Right.
And I had to remind myself, oh wait, you still have Ultimate Girls Trip, and some of these people are on that. Like Jill Zarin was there, Dorinda was there, and that makes sense. Caroline, and someone can fact check me, she might have been one of the only housewives there that actually is not currently on anything.
Yeah, I'm trying to like think really hard.
I could definitely be wrong, but like everybody that was there, if they're not on one of the main franchises, they're there because they were on Ultimate Girls Trip.
Yeah, so that panel was good because, they asked them kind of just like the high level questions of like, what did this do to kind of like your personal life? Like, would you change anything? So, and a lot of these women have been on for a decent amount of time. So it was interesting.
If any of you are curious about, because we talk about it on this show all the time, will Caroline Manzo come back? We did, of course, ask her that.
Yes.
And what would it take? And she gave the money sign, money, money, money. So
yeah, and we I think I screamed out, I was like, I'll pay you. Let's pool our money together. So yeah, I would love to have her, but I would even love to see her on like Ultimate Girls Trip or something. So we'll see. I think they are filming one right now, so she'd have to be on season 4. So they're going to Thailand for season 3. I forgot about that. Yes. So I'll have to, I forget who's on that cast. I have to look, but That was really good. I thought it was interesting too. They asked all the women, who from your franchise would you want back to come back? So we heard names like Lisa Vanderpump, and I was like, yeah, in the crowd. And so it was good. You saw Nene Leakes was mentioned. So a lot of like OG people were mentioned. So it was really good to kind of get those people to get the shout out and hear it from the women themselves that they'd like to have them back. So interesting panel for sure. All right. We got to meet one of our faves, took a pic. We finally met Dorinda. Katie, I don't know. I'm still flying high from meeting her. I wish we had more time with her.
Well, listen, there were photo ops all day long. Everything overlapped with everything. So it was a real pick and choose scenario of the whole day. We ended up leaving our panel, like we stayed 20 minutes out of an hour panel. Mm-hmm. And we knew that the Dorinda photo op was going to be coming up. That was the only successful photo op line that we got on. We waited on a couple others and got turned away. They let all the VIP people in first before they let in general admission. And we were very, very lucky to meet Dorinda. It was a quick, hot second. Understandable. These photo ops were only 30-minute segments.
Yeah. So you're in, you're out.
To be rapid fire. And don't be one of those people that like choose their ear off and like,
oh my God,
the line. So we met her super quick. She looked gorgeous.
She looked great. She looked
so beautiful. She had this rock star outfit on. Mm-hmm. And Kate, I know you showed her your BravoCon outfit from year one when you were dressed like her.
Oh, she loved it. And she did like her little accent. She was like, oh, you look like me. Like that's how she sounded like. And I was laughing because it's like, I honestly, I like did scarily look like her, to be honest.
So that was obviously, we loved meeting her. We're very, you know, if you can only meet, like I said, that was the only photo op one we got. She was like top of the list. So I'm really happy we got to see her.
Yeah. So the other panel that we went on, there was two, and we told you guys this at the Jersey. They had to split them up. So it was the Jersey ladies plus their men. So we went to part two. So we went to the one with Teresa and Louie, Jennifer and Bill, and Dolores and Frank. I thought it was great. As Katie said before, the crowd was loving Frank. We literally almost brought him to tears. Standing ovation.
Standing ovation.
None of the women, I don't think any of the women at Bravo, no one at BravoCon got a standing ovation except for Frank Catania. He was amazing. The panel was good. I think my only, like, I felt like, and I think I might have said this to you like a couple times throughout, like, I feel like Jennifer like answered every question, even though it wasn't her directed towards her. Like she was always just like chiming in and like, I get it, but I want to be like, shut up and let the other person.
So I want to say two things from that panel. I read a really good article and I should actually send it to you, Kate, because somebody really broke down all the highs and lows of BravoCon. And they did point by point, like almost like bullet points.
That's dedication.
It was like, this was a high, this was a low, this was a high. So they said two lows from that specific Jersey panel that we went to. Low was, they were like, Jennifer kept talking over everybody, answering questions that were not directed at her. Shut up. So that was one. Number two was, and I felt very, vindicated that they were speaking on behalf of the people. But there was Q&A at the end of it, and people were allowed to go up. And some people were really great about going up, asking their question and being over and done with. And then there were many, many people that would go up, and they're like, the person who wrote the article was like, don't go up and give us an anecdote about how you met them 10 years ago at an event and they were really nice, or you want them to FaceTime with your, like someone came up and said, Frank, I'm on FaceTime with my friend. Can you say hi? No question.
No.
Just interrupted everybody so he could FaceTime with her friend. And they were like, F you. Like that was.
Yeah.
So I'm glad they called them out. That was really annoying about the panel as well.
That was. And I think I made a comment about that. The one girl that like went on about her story meeting them. And I was like, you walk around Jersey, you can fucking meet them on the sidewalk if you want. And the girls behind us started cracking up to that comment. But it's true. Like, I don't care that you met Teresa at a book signing. You can literally, she goes to like the Planet Fitness in like Montville. Like you can go find her.
Like stop bringing it up because she doesn't remember meeting you 10 years
ago.
No,
she doesn't.
Like, let it go.
Like, we can go to sleep at night thinking Luann remembers meeting us, but like in the back of her,
when I show her the picture of me dressed as,
then she remembers. But oh my God. Well, speaking of Luann, we did see her and she crossed our paths. It really wasn't an opportune time for us to like
but
jump
honestly,
on her.
We kind of caught her alone.
We did. Katie, we were like alone in the expo floor. Like I looked around at one point and I was like, where is everyone? Like, are we being like filmed?
There were photo ops. There were all these lines that
right.
The Salt Lake City panel was going on.
Oh, I'm so
pissed to get into that. We could not. The line was insane. So everybody was in that. There were other big photo ops going on at the time. And Caitlin and I were like, screw it, let's get a drink. And nobody was at the bar, which you had to wait online all day for drinks. Nobody was there magically. We went and got drinks. We turned around and there she was. She popped out of a door right in front of us.
There she was.
We screamed our faces off right at her. And then when we screamed, other people in the distance noticed her. And then people were literally running after her. And she was just walking by.
I know. We didn't. So we didn't embarrass ourselves and run after her. We totally could have, but we didn't. We kept I think we were like literally like, Lou. Like we acted like we knew her. And she was like, hi, girl. Like she did her little like royal wave.
She was awesome.
My God. She looked snatched. She looked so good. So good in her red jumpsuit. I mean, it was like a suit. She looked a little like it was like a Michael Jackson vibe. I feel
like a star. She looked awesome.
A fucking star. She looked so damn good. So that was real quick. She left right after because we did go to her booth and ask, and they said she had gone home. So whatever. But speaking of booths, we were over in that area. So they do a lot of like exhibition stuff where you can buy things, their vendors, things like that. We did get 2 candles. Wait, I want to call them out real quick.
Yeah, they're awesome.
I have it right next to me. I do also have, Katie and I got matching shirts, so we'll wear them on the show one time. I do want to call out, I think it's literally, that's like how you pronounce it. You can't really, there you go. I can't really see. Literally is the name. And they have a whole housewives line. This one is Luann. So it's Money Can't Buy You class. It smells amazing. And then I know Katie got the Money Can't Buy You class. I also got the go to sleep one. Katie, it smells, I've been lighting it before bed every night.
Go to sleep.
Incredible. It makes me go to sleep. It is incredible. It's lavender. It's beautiful. So check them out. They are New Jersey, operated. So obviously real football fans in New Jersey, call them out. So yeah, so we were in that expo area, looking at a lot of the vendors, and Brooks, obviously Meredith's son from Salt Lake City. He has his own line of fashion. He does a lot of the jumpsuits, things like that. He had a stand. We walked by. He wasn't there. They were like, oh, he's been in and out. We had just been standing there casually. He just walks right in. And we were like, Brooks. So we took a picture of him. Katie and I both agreed on this. Probably one of the most handsome, looking faces we have ever seen in our lives. Yeah. Just jawline.
Very, very chiseled jawline.
Face. It's are you a human? I wanted to be are you real?
Through him.
Literally.
But sculpted him.
Very nice. He was so thankful that we were, giving him these compliments, that we visited the booth, things like that. Took a picture with us. So yeah, so that was a really nice, kind of random encounter. Mm-hmm. So, but really nice kid. So I'm excited to see him on the rest of this season of Salt Lake City. All right. So kind of just Katie, overall, event, your perspective, year 1 versus year 2.
Yeah. I hate to say this. I hate to bum the people out here. Year 1 was a million trillion times better than
not even a competition.
The biggest difference was, I think I heard somebody say that year 1, they only exclusively sold 4,500 tickets. That's why they sold out so quickly. You could have still bought a day ticket this year, the day of.
Right.
There were thousands and thousands and thousands of people.
So many people.
And I'll basically just sum it up year 1, because there were so few people, I felt we crammed so much in one day, which you should, because
you're paying for it.
7 hours, 7-8 hours.
Yeah.
You should be able to cram a lot in that time. And year 1, we did. We met so many people. We went to so many panels. We went to the museum. And we did all that having to go to different locations. This year was all at the Javits. That was one of the highlights of this year's. We went to 2.5 events over the course of 7-8 hours that we were there.
Hmm.
Waited online for things. We got turned away. I'm calling this wait online con. That's what it was. And again, for the photo ops, if you had a VIP ticket, you were allowed to get ahead of all the general admission. If you were VIP, you could go ahead into the panels before everybody else. And I do believe that they really were checking bracelets for that.
For that, yeah.
For that. So that is, but it's a lot of money. The general admission tickets are so expensive. To pay a VIP ticket, it's like, I get that there's that premium, but oh my God.
Is it worth it?
Where, you know, I waited on one line, general admission line for drinks, and I waited forever. And then I was like, you know what? VIP line you go, and you get caught and you ask for forgiveness. So I waltzed right up there like nobody, you know, nobody was on those VIP lines for the drinks. I did it the rest of the day. None of the bartenders ever checked my bracelet. So then it's annoying for the people who pay VIP that I'm just getting to waltz up there and not having to pay the extra money. But I did get to do that. And thank God I did, because, you know, I was waiting on those general admission lines for nothing. But I'm deeming this wait online con. Two and a half events. 2.5 events. We got turned away from how many? Like, we didn't get our money's worth. We really didn't.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you. And listen, I'll be fully transparent with our audience. Like, I do not care. Our ticket was $200. Like, with taxes and fees and everything, came out $200. That's one day. People went for the whole weekend. That's way more expensive. And people went, they had VIP and senior VIP. Like that, like, I'm sorry. Like, you could spend your money, if you were all adults here, you can spend your money on whatever the hell you want to, but like, I don't take $200 lightly at all. So I'm doing this because it's an experience. I'm going with you. Obviously, we want to do this. Of course, it's a cool event. We had a great time the first year. I did not get my money's worth. I will tell you that. Like, at all. Like, at the end of the day, yeah, like, did I come home with some cool merch that I had to pay for? Did I get to meet like Dorinda, obviously, and Brooks? Like, cool, very exciting. Like, we just, like, the first year was like a dream. Like, we were just constantly like walking on cloud nine. Oh, there's a housewife. There's someone from below deck. Like,
towards the end of the day, we were just running.
Yeah. And it was so casual. It wasn't forced, like, so much nicer. And I agree. Like, it needs to be a little bit more cutthroat, in my opinion, and a little bit more like exclusive. So that's the experience like I want with these people. So I don't know. I definitely think it could be better. It's interesting though. Like, a lot of, well, my advice is don't be fooled by like all those like Bravo accounts, like on Instagram and stuff, that said like, oh, it was so easy to get this and stuff. Those people all had like SVIP tickets. And also some of them had press passes. Some of those Bravo accounts actually moderated panels. So don't.
That article that I want to send you to of the highs and lows spoke about the bathroom line.
Oh my God. And they were all unisex. It wasn't
because you're waiting online for everything and everything overlaps each other. You are then choosing at this point in time, am I going to spend the next 30 minutes waiting online to use the bathroom? Right. Because if I do, I'm going to miss this event.
Yep.
Come on.
And you guys need to understand too, like, they were unisex bathrooms. So it wasn't like the men's line was so much shorter than the women. No, it was like anyone could pee. And they were still massive lines. So, and I do not remember that from year one. I remember peeing happily a lot. So because we were drinking both times. Like, I definitely happily peed a lot. So, So I don't know. We'll see what happens. You know, I hope they take like some advice from people. My biggest probably piece of advice to Bravo and those putting this on, you got to bump general admission down to like $50, $100. You cannot charge people that much.
I mean, you have to equate it to what we experienced. And if that's all that's going to get me into over the course of 8 hours, then yeah, I don't want to pay $200 for that.
Absolutely not. Alrighty. So obviously we experienced a couple things, but there was some things that we heard and announced throughout the event. Remember, Katie and I were only there on Saturday. This was a Friday through Sunday event.
And we obviously, like we just said, didn't get into everything.
Right. And G bless the people that went for 3 days. Like, I don't know what.
They do that.
I don't know why, how, whatever you're doing. So, listen, the new Real Housewives of New York cast was revealed and they did make an appearance. So that was, we had heard so many like rumors like with this new cast and like filming and things like that, but that was at BravoCon. They made an appearance. So, and they made an announcement. So it is definitely happening.
We'll have to break down the cast on another episode, but
We definitely can. Yeah. Luann and Sonia's new show was officially announced and it's going to premiere in 2023. I'm very excited. So, the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills panel almost got canceled day one because of stampeding fans. Lisa Rinna was being booed and giving everyone the finger. Oh my Lord. Like it was crazy. And I got to tell you, I think I exited Beverly Hills at such the prime time, like 2-3 years ago. I was getting fed up. It was probably when Lisa Vanderpump left. I watched it one season after. People are so emotionally invested in it right now, and it's still a dramatic piece of like shit on fire. And that's why there was a stampede at the panel. And that's why Lisa Rinna is out there getting booed and giving people the finger. So I'm not surprised, but I left that franchise when it was the right time to leave it. So, all right. So we do have some details on something that happened after one of the after parties. Jennifer Aiden is in the video seen throwing a drink and having a verbal fight with Melissa and Joe Gorga in a hotel lobby. Katie and I really dissected an entire thread from Jennifer today, really going into detail of what happened from her side of the story. Listen, at the end of the day, there are two sides to everything. Katie and I had seen throughout the weekend, though, that Joe Gorga was just a hot mess the entire weekend and was just constantly F this, hot-headed. Everything was making a big deal. He had his panel, obviously, for Jersey. Katie and I were like miles away and could hear him screaming into the microphone. So that's just not our opinion. That was seen across the web, across all of BravoCon. So you got to read Jennifer's statement. You guys believe who you want to believe. It seems as if he started it with Melissa. And to be honest, if that's how he acted all weekend, I wouldn't be surprised if it was true.
Well, let's just leave it on the note that if you think any of that tension and any of that drama you've been reading about in New Jersey and that separation and that split between people and feuding, none of that is fake. That is all very much so real. And again, we
very real.
Both sides of the panel, but we went to one, and that tension and that drama is real.
Yep, it's there. So, and unfortunately, there was only like amateur footage of this, so I don't think we're going to see it on the season.
But we got to see how it all plays out. I think they got to get this New Jersey season out as quickly as possible because it is getting hard as a fan. Like, have I always been like Team Gorga? Yes, but now it's like I can't even make arguments for why I'm Team Gorga on this because I don't know what has actually happened. So I need to like see it to form like an opinion and take a side. And we need that.
Yep. I agree.
That was BravoCon. It was, always interesting. Always interesting time. But let's get into our game for the night. It is football related and is called Weekly Warriors MVPs of Week 7. So we are going to take a look at each matchup for Week 7 and determine who we think will be the MVP of each game. So let's start this off just in order. Thursday Night Football, we have New Orleans at Arizona. Kate, who is going to be your MVP of this one?
I don't know. Don't call it a comeback, but it is DeAndre Hopkins' first game back after a suspension, and I think he wants to make some noise. So got to go with DeAndre Hopkins on this one.
All right. I'm going with Mr. Alvin Kamara for New Orleans. New Orleans has dealt with a lot of offensive injuries. We mentioned before, Michael Thomas will be out. Jarvis Landry will be out. During that time, Kamara has been the bright spot, rushing for 99 yards and 103 yards in the last 2 games, and they're going to have to continue to rely on him. So I think expect another big game from him. Atlanta at Cincinnati.
I'm going to go with Jamar Chase. You look at both offenses here, and I think he really just, he's the guy. He stands out. quarterbacks. I mean, Joe Burrow is even having some difficulties right now with his line, but he can always, rely on Jamar Chase. So I think, yeah, definitely going to go with him.
Well, I think our answers can go hand in hand. I'm going to go with Cincinnati quarterback Joe Burrow.
Okay.
He will be facing the second worst passing defense with Atlanta. So I think this is a game where you could torch him for 300 plus. And obviously, your pick of Jamar Chase is going to play a big factor in that as well. All right, Detroit at Dallas, Kate. This is your upset pick. So I'm interested to see who you got in this one.
Took a week off. He already has 6 touchdowns on the season. I'm going with Jamal Williams on the Detroit Lions here.
All right. I am going with the medically cleared and back in action Dallas quarterback Dak Prescott. He is set to return on Sunday. And I think he's going to come out, and I think he's going to prove that there is no quarterback controversy in Dallas. He is
All
there
right.
to have a big game.
I want to see the controversy.
All right, Indiana at Tennessee. This is a good, tight divisional matchup. Who are you going with?
No particular person on this one. I'm going to take the Colts defense, looking for MVP here. We're seeing them kind of maybe in the top 10, 15 when it comes to tackles, sacks. So they got to get to Ryan Tannehill here. We've seen Ryan Tannehill kind of like escape a lot of random things. When we played the Giants, like he was escaping, getting sacked, everything like that. You got to bring it here. And I think the Colts can do it. So I'm going to go with the Colts holistic defense on this one.
All right. Well, it's crazy to think that these two division rivals are already going to be playing their second game this season. So I'm going with Tennessee running back Derrick Henry. He rushed for 114 yards and 1 touchdown in their first meeting. Look for him to break 100+ rushing yards in this one as well.
I freaking hope so. It was a huge miss last weekend not having him. So
Green Bay at Washington. We got.
I spoke of the wake up call earlier. I don't think they're going to lose. Listen, they might win, maybe not by a lot. I don't think they're going to lose 3 back-to-back. So I'm going to give this one to Aaron Rodgers. This might be the wake up call week for them, but
this is going to be all about Green Bay's defense for me. And I'm going with Green Bay linebacker Rashawn Gary. Green Bay has the number 1 passing defense in the league right now. And that helps considering the fact that they're going to be going up against Taylor Heineke, back up for Washington while Carson Wentz is banged up. Gary can help in the pass game as well as get after the quarterback. He's got 6 sacks on the season so far. Tampa Bay at Carolina. This is our lock pick. Who's going to do it for him?
I'm going with a holistic view. I'm going with another defense, and I'm going with Tampa's defense here because we've seen over the last couple of weeks their offense, kind of struggling. They're making plays. They're doing some things, but their defense is really carrying them along week after week. We're seeing a lot of sacks, a lot of tackles. We're seeing interceptions from them across the board. So no particular person, in my opinion, going with the defense here. If they need to seal the deal in Carolina, the defense is going to do it.
All right. I hope I'm right with my pick. I've got him in fantasy football. I'm going with Tampa Bay wide receiver Mike Evans. Carolina has the 4th worst passing defense. I think Evans is going to have a big day. He's been the constant for Tom Brady. All right. Our New York football Giants at the Jacksonville Jaguars.
I'm loving what I'm seeing so far from him. I'm going with Saquon Barkley.
All right. This is one where I'm not picking someone from who I think is going to be the winning team. I'm going with Jacksonville running back Travis Etienne Jr. The Giants will win this one, but when you look at the stat sheet, I think the big numbers are going to come from the Jacksonville running backs as they face the Giants' 5th worst run defense. And by the way, I think Jacksonville has the 3rd best run defense. So as much as I want to see a big day from Saquon Barkley, it is going to be a challenge on the ground for the G-men.
Yeah, we do not have a good run defense.
All right, Cleveland at Baltimore, another great divisional game we get to see this weekend.
Yeah, this kid's numbers prove it. And what we've seen over the last couple of weeks, and we actually saw it last week firsthand, Baltimore's defense is giving you a hit or miss kind of game every week so often. We saw a lot of penalties against them and a lot of open space. Nick Chubb, honestly, he's putting up the numbers. And like I said, Baltimore, their defense, it's kind of wishy-washy. So
Okay, this is one that I don't have like real stats to back it up. This is just a gut feeling. I know Baltimore's been like kind of on the down right now, and I just feel like we are due for them to come back with a big signature win in their division, led behind their star player, Baltimore quarterback Lamar Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
All right, the Jets at Denver.
All right, so I'm going with defense again, but I actually picked a player this time, so don't you worry.
Maybe we have the same one. I went defense too.
Maybe. I went with LaMarcus Joyner on the Jets. So he's racking up some tackles per game. He had 2 interceptions on the season, but both were against the Steelers, and one was a game-winning interception for that game against the Steelers. So honestly, huge game last week for the entire team against Green Bay. Not really seeing much out of the offense down in Denver, so I think he'll come out and have a really nice game here.
All right, we picked different players, but we're both giving love to that New York Jets defense. I'm going with defensive tackle Quinnen Williams.
Oh, yeah. Bama boy, love him.
5 sacks, 4 tackles for a loss, and 1 forced fumble this season. Look for him to exploit a really weak Denver offensive line. Houston at Las Vegas.
Yeah, so this guy's putting up the numbers for a team that we're not really seeing much from, but I don't put any trust in anyone on Houston at this point. So I'm just going to go with Devontae Adams for the Raiders here.
I'm actually going with Vegas running back Josh Jacobs. So disappointing start for his team so far this season.
Right.
Him personally, he's had a great start to the season.
Proving you wrong.
Yes. I'm still not. I'm not a fan. But he's going to do that against the 3rd worst rushing defense. So that's going to help.
Yeah.
All right. Seattle at the Chargers.
So I'm picking the Chargers on this one. I know we spoke about earlier, kind of, we're not seeing much from them. Another team that I said wake up call. And listen, I still have so much trust in this young quarterback. So I'm going to go with Justin Herbert on this one.
All right. I'm going Chargers running back Austin Eckler for the same reason I chose Josh Jacobs. Eckler is obviously one of the league's top running backs, and he's facing the 2nd worst rushing defense this weekend. Look for it to be a huge game from Austin Eckler. All right, Kansas City at San Fran.
I'm going with Travis Kelce on this one. Talk about a tight end that gives you everything that you want and more. He is all over the field this season, blocking, touchdowns, everything that Patrick Mahomes needs in a tight end. And I just think that he's really going to help them in this game.
All right, I'm going with Kansas City quarterback Patrick Mahomes. The team is going to bounce back off their Week 6 loss with a big game from Mahomes against a very banged up 49ers team. Injuries on both sides right now for that squad. All right, Pittsburgh at Miami.
So I'm going with Tyreek Hill, and I want to read a quote about the receivers in Miami. I didn't source it, so I apologize, but this is not me. It says, trying to defend the speed and big playability of the Miami Dolphins receivers is like running with the Bulls. If you don't move fast enough, there's a good chance of being gorged. So you need to move with them quickly. And I do not think Pittsburgh's defense is going to be able to do it. So Tyreek Hill, 100% here for me. I also loved that quote. That was so funny.
Ding, 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 ding. I'm going with Miami wide receiver Tyreek Hill.
We got one.
I said the big playmaker will have 100+ receiving yards, including a 40+ yard catch against the 3rd worst passing defense. And then last but not least, Chicago at New England.
I got to tell you, like, full transparency, I absolutely hate this matchup, and I'm, like, so bummed that it's a Monday night game.
Don't get me started on the primetime games.
We do get Eli and Peyton back this week, so thank God. That's going to be my saving grace on Monday. I think if Mac Jones plays, it's going to be him, and if he doesn't play, it's his backup, Zap. I can't pronounce his last name, Zappy, whatever. It's him. It's his identical twin. Either one of them's getting MVP this week, so...
All right, I'm going to end this game on the defensive side of the ball. I try to give some love when I could to these defensive players. I'm going with New England linebacker Matthew Judon. Justin Fields is tied for the most sacked quarterback, and Judon is tied for the 2nd most sacks with 6. So he will force a costly Chicago turnover and be the MVP of that game.
That's a match made in heaven right there.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, that was good. Honestly, yeah, you got to look at every single player, how these teams have already performed, how you think they're going to. So definitely an interesting and fun game for sure. And a lot of insight there for your people across the board. So definitely hope you're paying attention. All right, it's that time of the episode where you get it off your chest. Positive, negative, football, housewives, wine, life, BravoCon, anything, the spooky season, the fact that it's 40 degrees out season, whatever that I have like a blanket and a sweatshirt next to me at all times now. So whatever you want, Katie, kick us off.
Okay, so obviously top of mind with BravoCon, the announcement of the new Roni cast. I feel the more that it becomes real that this is going to be a completely revamped, brand new cast of women for Roni. It's really setting in for me and showing my true feelings of that I'm not feeling good about it. I'm not feeling good about ditching, our beloved favorites that have been with us the whole time. I understand that they're going to do a legacy show, but we reported on our show last week that apparently Bravo's, main thing that they're focusing on is Roni and the revamped cast. Legacy, like they'll get to, but apparently I don't think they've really made serious moves with it yet.
Yeah.
When I saw this cast, and we'll probably break them down on a future episode. When I saw this cast, I got real vibes of like Dubai, and we were very excited for Dubai. And then I watched like 5 episodes, and I could not bear to continue on.
Yeah.
It made me realize that it's extremely, extremely difficult to put together a brand new cast, brand new, everybody new. And it's really hard to make everybody fall in love with them. We see what it's like when you have a regular cast and they'll bring on one new person that season. And sometimes it can be really hard to love just one new person. We've got all new women. And I feel as though the New York women, the OGs, the Luann, Sonia, Dorinda, Bethany, I could go on. And obviously, they're all so beloved. And I think they're some of the most loved cast members across the board, across all franchises. Roni had their last season was one of the worst seasons I've ever seen. I could barely finish it. And Roni is my favorite franchise.
I don't think I did finish it.
However, that is their one and only poor season. Every other season has been gold. It's been magic. And to throw it all away over one bad season, when you had a very different cast, you had new people, you had a weird sophomore season from Leah, you had Ebony that just didn't click for me. It feels really sad to scrap everything over one bad season. And it makes me long for the women that we love. They were the women that I was most excited to see at BravoCon.
Yeah.
I don't want to see them in this legacy format. I don't know what that's going to look like. I just want to see them as our regular Roni cast members. And I'm getting a bad gut feeling about the new Roni. You know that we're going to support it and we're going to watch it. We're going to really try our best to love it. But I'm a little shaken up after what happened with Dubai. So honestly, like I'm on edge and my vibes are like not good vibes. So that is my get it off my chest. Hope for the best, but kind of expecting the worst.
Yeah, listen, I totally get it. I agree with you for sure. I think it's with Dubai, like there was a couple like women on there that were like quote unquote like influencers, and like that's how people knew them. A lot of the women on this new New York are influencers, and I don't even know what that means. I work in social media and I don't know what that means, honestly. Like anyone could be an influencer. Like the reel I posted the other day on our page has like 2,000 views. Am I an influencer, Katie? Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know, like, honestly. So I'm just a little concerned from that aspect, but listen, we'll play it out. We'll go over the cast with you guys in a week or two on an episode. Once it comes out, we'll give it its, do our due diligence and watch, but I agree. It is something going into where your guard is up 100%.
Yes. Good way of putting it.
Yep. All righty. So mine, has to, a little guard up too. Mine has to do with the New York Giants. So, I opened up Twitter this morning. Obviously, much going around. We're looking at wide receiver Chase Claypool on Pittsburgh. Being up for options to, call them, trade him, everything like that. It has been seen. I don't know how, real this source is. I did see a couple tweets though about it that the Giants might have called, maybe expressed some interest. Other teams are expressing interest too, obviously.
I saw things about Carolina wide receiver DJ Moore.
Yep. So it's out there, and obviously, the NFL is a business. You have to be making phone calls constantly if things are happening. So listen, my only opinion on this is that you look at the Giants wide receiving core right now of who's healthy. We just got Wan'Dale Robinson back. It's not like this 10-year core. It's a very questionable core. Like, who are we working with at wide receiver here? You've got Saquon catching balls sometimes too. We're throwing Daniel Jones into the mix with some wildcat moves, and it is a little bit crazy. My thought though is I was listening to the radio today with Carl Banks, and he was saying, it's the Giants can make a move on someone if they wanted to. He doesn't really see that it's realistic right now. So that was from him. And his was mainly from a business standpoint, saying, a lot to do with the cap space. So moving into 2023, the Giants do go up a little bit in cap space and are actually healthy. Right now, we're a little questionable. If we do anything right now, we might be tapping into next year, and that's never good. You don't want debt. You don't want anything like that. And then I was listening to our friends over at New York Revival. They did a show last night, and they were just saying too, the Giants, over these weeks, while there might be some questionable players on the field and you don't know really what's going on in that wide receiver, they're getting comfortable in their play and they're getting confident with what they're doing right now. So I question bringing in a guy like Chase Claypool. We're winning games and we're doing things right now. You introduce someone 7-8 weeks into the mix, he probably wouldn't even play till week 9, to be honest. And when's our bye? Our bye is coming up.
Playing Kenny Golladay, and he was healthy and good to go.
Right. So we did that already, and it clearly didn't work, like you had just said. So for me, my advice, my opinion, I think we're cool right now. You want to look to next year to maybe draft some people, go into free agency. That's fine. I think just right now, it's not technically mid-season, but I'll call it mid-season. I think we're okay.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with you. I don't think the wide receiver core is perfect, but we're doing what we can with what we have. We still have guys that we've drafted in the last year or two that we still need to see what they're made of. Let it season under their belts, figure out what we want to do potentially, like you said, in the draft or free agency.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, that is our show for tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for hanging out with us on another Real Football Fans of New Jersey Wednesday. Things you don't want to miss this week: Beverly Hills Reunion Part 2. That started tonight at 8 p.m. Catch that on demand. Salt Lake City on tonight at 9 p.m. and Potomac on Sunday at 8. Oh, what a super sexy NFL Week 7 primetime slate. We've got Thursday night football, New Orleans at Arizona, Sunday night football, Pittsburgh at Miami, and the real treat, Monday night football, Chicago at New England.
Thank God for Halloween time, because you can easily put on a Halloween movie when the game sucks. So
that's not for Saturday college football. If you're a fan of college football, there's a lot of good matchups this weekend. We've got number 5 Clemson versus number 14 Syracuse. Number 9, UCLA versus number 10, Oregon. Number 11, Oklahoma State versus number 20, Texas. Number 6, Alabama versus number 24, Mississippi State.
That number.
I can't remember the last time I saw it that low. Number 8, TCU versus number 17, Kansas State. So a lot of good college football games for you guys. Hopefully another fun week in the NFL, some good housewife stuff. And you'll see our faces next Wednesday. So thank you again. Hope you have a good night and a good rest of your week.
Absolutely. Have some fun foosball this weekend. See ya later.